A lot is happening right now. In fact, I do not know if there is going to be an implosion or explosion. As you all know, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he was somehow picked up in Kenya. Some might say extraordinary rendition, some might say kidnapping, and he found himself in Nigeria putting on Fendi. He has ever since kept to that Fendi. Well, um, I guess his lawyers or his legal counsel, they felt that joining Showore to pressure the Nigerian government via protest would be the way out. They come to realize that it seems it's a kind of a kangaroo monkey kind of thing where you keep on and on going to the court, counter suing, defending, counter that, and all of that. And it seems there is no headway. The thing is, there is nobody that is willing to touch Nnamdi Kanu. What do I mean? I mean, they are not willing to allow him go free. They have a lot, according to them, that you're going to hear as we proceed. And they have a lot, and they believe that any of these utterances or action by Nnamdi Kanu is not going to make their own pot of soup have a good taste, if you know what I mean. So it means that not an Igbo man, Yoruba man, Hausa or Fulani, it's not, and it's got nothing to do with tribe. That's what I mean. So Nnamdi Kanu has decided to represent himself, and that's because some couple of his legal counsel show where they were arrested, some were not arrested, some were invited. You know, they have a way about it, and a lot is happening. Let us watch this, and we'll be talking more. They even said Governor Sanwo-Olu and some others, Nnamdi Kanu is inviting them in as witnesses. And when you invite your enemies as witnesses, not Sanwo-Olu alone, Wike, and many others. In fact, Danjuma, so many of them have been invited in by
the protest. The detained Ipob leader, Nnamdi Kanu, in a motion he personally filed on Tuesday, October 21st, agreed to enter his defense and informed the Federal High Court of his plan to call a total of 23 witnesses divided into two categories. Well, among those listed as compellable witnesses are former Minister of Defense, General Theophilus Danjuma, former Chief of Army Staff, General Tuko Boratai, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, Works Minister Debu Mahi, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, and Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State. The detained IPOB leader told the court he would testify on his own behalf, providing a sworn account of the facts, denying the allegations, and explaining the political context of his statements and actions. He requested a 90-day time frame to conclude his defense, given the number of witnesses. I mean, Rufai, what a dramatic turn of events. You know, Kanu's lawyer has been remanded in Kuje Correctional Center for participating in the protest. The timing and Kanu's decision to personally sign the notice raised questions about his relationship with his legal team and suggest a significant strategic pivot in his defense approach, potentially signaling his readiness to confront, you know, the charges. Now his lead counsel is in detention. He has to, you know, I mean, I believe he also is a lawyer, he says, Nnamdi Kanu. I've heard some places that he said that.
You see, if we want to build a nation, let's build a nation. If we want to be hypocritical, let's be hypocritical. For all of those that are saying Ejimako has no right of protest, and I'm not a lawyer, so please, you can challenge some of my thoughts, but I'll think freely on this. And they are claiming sub judice. We have all been on this table where many cases that are currently in courts have been come to discuss here. Do you remember? Can we even go back and point out a couple of things? Anyway, we remember the debacle of Natasha, and we remember how people were coming to discuss the case while even the judges said they shouldn't discuss it here. Do we remember? Why didn't the legal disciplinary committee, why did they called in then? This case has not been, it's been on for a while. You remember that at some point during President Buhari's administration, some Igbo leaders, even when the case was in court, went to prevail over President Buhari for a political solution. Were they sub judice then? I'm talking about those Igbo leaders. Yeah. Recently, we've heard that governors like Alex Oti and a couple of other governors, I think governor of Imo State, have been talking to the president about a case currently in courts. Can we also deem those as sub judice? So please, I don't know anything in law, but I just think out loud. So please, you can educate me. I'm open to education.
We will learn more.
No. So I want to learn.
A huge debate.
No. And that's why I'm asking. And I've cited my position that were these engagements sub judice, the one that the great elder statesman from the South is that even finally passed after that negotiation with President Buhari at an early, was a former federal minister in the 60s in this country. They went to President Buhari to ask and beg that Nnamdi Kanu should be released political solution. The governors that have been talking to the president as regards that, are these also sub judice? Because when you say, okay, Ejimako went to protest about a case in court and you say, okay, sub judice, you should know better. Now he's been detained and, he's been taken against his right. We forget he's a citizen first. Well, those other instances were they sub judice? That's just what I want to...
Defendant, like Nnamdi Kanu says, I want to defend myself. What are the implications in law?
I don't know any law in Nigeria, so I can't help you, sir. I'm sorry.
You want us to withdraw your law certificates? You are now denying that you have knowledge of law.
Please feel free to withdraw it, because the fact of the matter is that the things that our courts do these days, I was not trained in them, and so I can't tell you, I can't help you if it comes to Nigerian law.
All right.
And gladly, I teach international law, which is not made in Nigeria.
But what are the principles of law? Since your knowledge of law suddenly have just disappeared, Prof. I mean, seriously, what are the implications when a defendant says, I will now represent myself?
In the version of law that I was taught, the relationship between a lawyer and the client is a relationship of agent and principal, with the client being the principal and the lawyer being the agent. And if the principal withdraws the instruction, it is withdrawn. At which point the lawyer is obliged to cease representing the client. Now, in criminal proceedings, what then happens thereafter is between the judge and the accused person, because the person who is client is also accused person, I presume, in a trial. What happens thereafter is between the judge and the accused person. The judge is obliged to allow the accused person some time to reorganize their affairs, and the accused person obviously is entitled, the terms of the constitutional protection, by the way, or guarantee, if I remember correctly, entitle an accused person to represent themselves or through legal representatives of their own choice, as long as subject, of course, to the principle you know very well, which is that the lawyer has to be a person who has a natural right to travel in and out of Nigeria. And so the lawyer would not be a foreigner ordinarily. But other than that, an accused person is entitled to take these decisions. I presume that those are the prerogatives that Mr. Kanu has chosen to exercise.
So, I mean, you look at the trial and the agitation. What are your views about those who are asking? And I'm guessing that those who are asking for the freedom for Nnamdi Kanu are looking at it from the purview of the president granting clemency to about over 170 Nigerians who have been convicted.
Shooting where again? Shooting in Okota, they are shooting also in Okota. People must go to the bush, ambush them. Go to the bush, you need to cut them off from the back, ambush them, take their guns from them and kill them. These are animals, they are not human beings. They may be wearing police army. They are not human beings. These are terrorists from Niger. These are terrorists from Gambia. These are foreign terrorists from Chad. They are not human beings. Disarm them and kill them. If you allow them to scare you off the streets, your life is over. Your life is over. And I want Lagos airport to be on flames. breach the perimeter fence, go and burn down Lagos. Anybody, if you have double barrel, if you have pistol, anything you have, give it to them, let them go and kill them, penetrate the airport and set Motam Hamad Airport on fire. Set it ablaze right now. Then the world will listen. You are dealing with animals. Fulani Janjaweed, they are animals. They do not reason. They do not reason. You don't know them. You don't know them. I mean, are they not killing people? The caller on the line, can you hear me? Yes, please. Good evening to you. Yes, go ahead.
Well, my name is Chideverugu, calling from Lagos.
What is happening where you are?
We was at Oshoda Papa Expressway. They was shooting us there. It's 5 people that they killed this evening.
How many policemen died? I don't want to hear they kill us, they kill us. How many did you kill? How many police or army did you kill? How many?
They have burned the Lafa police station. They have burned it down. They burned the Sele police station. They burned the Urile police station down. Everything is down now as I'm speaking.
Thank you very much. That is, since if you go to my page, you will see a flag there. Nigerian flag stained with blood. So the flag that people should be carrying.
Now. Free Nnamdi Kanu 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 now. Don't tear us! Don't tear us! Do not tear us! You are right to protest. Free Nnamdi Kanu now. Free Nnamdi Kanu now. Nnamdi Kanu now. Steve. Kanu now. Nnamdi Kanu now. Let's go to Beggar. Nnamdi Kanu now. Nnamdi Kanu now. Nnamdi Kanu now. Nnamdi Kanu now.
I don't exclude anyone. If you are attending a Yoruba church, you should be ashamed of yourself. Anybody attending a Pentecostal church with a Yoruba pastor is an idiot, a complete fool, an imbecile. I have no time for them. They are worse than Boko Haram. They are very, very foolish. If your pastor is Yoruba, you are not fit to be a human being.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You know, there is a local or a kind of slang or a way of expressing this kind of situation. People will say, well, you know, the way things are, it's like we are going to port it anyhow. We are going to port it with craziness. That's basically what Nnamdi Kanu and his legal team have thought about, and he feels within himself, it's best I speak for myself. I have a lot rather than me being represented in court, and the government already picked his legal counsel. Not that he cannot get some other counsel or lawyers representing. In fact, they said they are no longer representing Nnamdi Kanu, that he said he wants to do it himself and he needs 90 days to prepare his defense, and he will be inviting in witnesses and he expects them to come forth. The thing is, the court can compel them to come but they might not want to come, and he knows that they will not be coming. Meaning, look, I have invited these people to come in, and they have refused to come in as witnesses. These are my witnesses. I don't know, maybe the court lawyers or the judge or whatever might come up with some technical response to this, like, oh, these guys or this group of people or that person are not part of this and that, and they will come up with some kind of big Latin and some explanation to why they cannot come as witnesses. Nnamdi Kanu is representing himself and asking them to come as witnesses. I'm talking about more than 10 people are being asked to come. He's even inviting the governor of Imo State, is inviting the minister for the Federal Capital Territory, he's inviting a lot of people. He said, these are my witnesses. That they need to come and respond. These are my witnesses. They are witnesses of this, they are witnesses of that, and witnesses of, a lot. Now, during the heat of the moment, or let us say the frenzy, there is this point that you get heated up, particularly if you are not happy, you are upset, and you talk and talk and talk and talk. You know what I mean? Like, you have your words, it's just there, and you want to put it all out. There are times that you speak and say certain things that you should not be saying, and you know what I mean? I mean, there are certain things that you might say, and maybe you will regret it later, or maybe you might want to defend it, like, okay, I've said it and I stand by it. There are certain things that Nnamdi Kanu said, which some might say this is not freedom of speech. Why would you say, if that person, why you curse on that person? What about that? What about saying, go to the airport, set it ablaze, destroy this, destroy that? That if you are calling for such, then it's a big, huge problem that needs to be dealt with, if you know what I mean. That's the reason why the governor of Lagos State is being called in. I don't know. He said that Lagos State and certain parts, federal property, in fact, he said they should be destroyed. But there are some other things that Nnamdi Kanu talked about. He said, look, I live in the United Kingdom, and there are certain benefits that citizens of the United Kingdom do get. He talked about housing. He talked about benefits if you're not working, and many things that are functioning abroad in the United Kingdom where he lives or where he once lived. He said, I expect such to also exist in my own country. And if that is not given, I think the best for us is to quit and stop being one Nigeria. And that is the truth of the matter. Let us be sincere. But the thing is, at times it gets to a point you kind of want to look at it and you'll be wondering, does separation, cut it off, like splitting, like does any of these things actually does it really kind of is that the answer? Breaking up of Nigeria. I know that a lot of people must have thought about it, they must have pondered about it. I, for one, I am a huge supporter of breakup of Nigeria. Why? Let us look at language. You barely find countries that speak so many languages, I mean indigenous languages, together as one. Yeah, they might have their dialect, they might have little people. The thing is that they have one language. They have one language that is generally spoken. I'm not talking of some borrowed or colonial languages. I'm not talking of some of that. I'm talking about indigenous languages. Yorubas should speak Yoruba in their country and develop with their languages. Language. Igbos too should do the same. And if there are some smaller countries that would then come, if they choose to pay tributary, or let's say want to be part of a bigger one, now it's their choice, and they also have to put out, and of course they have to take note of why Nigeria is still Nigeria, like sticking together. I mean, without respect for the 100 years breakup. But then talking about the 100 years that a lot of people talk about, like, oh, they said that after 100 years you guys can split if you don't want to be together, blah blah blah. And people say a lot of this blah 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 without taking note of one action. Anytime you go out there to vote, you're simply telling the world and telling yourself, and also bowing to the Constitution, saying we want to be together, want to remain as one. It's a terrible thing, ladies and gentlemen. Once you do that, you're simply saying we want to remain as one Nigeria. The day you quit voting, the day everyone, let's say the way the thing is in the southeast of Nigeria, which I see as counterproductive, it is the most stupid thing I've ever seen. Someone is saying sit at home. How does your sitting at home affect the federal government? How does it affect how does it even affect change anyway? You are crippling your economy. You are making yourself weaker when you are supposed to be more prosperous, where you are supposed to what I say about Southeasterners, but like the Igbos, is that they lack the ability to sit back and construct this blueprint on how to be relevant when it comes to politics. I mean, politics at the federal level. They do not understand that. And I don't know if it stems from their culture, tradition, or the way they have decided to think where they are from. I don't know, maybe that's the problem. It's like they have this way. It's just that they just do not understand this human thing on how to go about grabbing government. Like Mr. Peter Obi, who at least from what we know is Igbo. It's not like Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. They said, oh, he just inserted Ebele. He's not Igbo. Now he's not Igbo. But yeah, which of the presidential candidate or whoever, Peter Obi is crying on national TV. If you want to cry in your room, he came and cried, I want it. That shows stupidity. Like, man, this is not how to present yourself. This is not how to present yourself. You don't present yourself that way. This is the attitude and behavior of someone who is a coward or who does not understand politics or how to go about it. You need to understand the kind of politics. For example, if you are in the savannah or wherever, lions, tigers, you need to understand. If you now live in some other, maybe rainforest, you need to understand what place there. If you now step in and become powerful, if you now choose to change the status quo or the way things are done, then it's a different thing. So these are some of the things. People saying, hey, they should give, nobody gives anybody power. Nobody gives anybody, like, they should give Igbo. They should give, it doesn't, where? Nobody. Even the Bible says, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and violent people take it by force. It means that there is a violence, regardless of how you want to translate or interpret that verse, there is something that has to happen. That is how power is gotten. Now, back to Nnamdi Kanu. He felt the only approach to getting is separation. Separation is the only way out. That is his thought. And he felt like, this is the only way let me stoke up the fire this way. Let us bring tribal sentiment. Let us stoke up fires of hatred, tribal hatred. It could come from a place of, oh, look at these people. He knows that these pastors have influence. And he knows that something about the southwest of Nigeria, you cannot joke with it. And the truth of it is that the southwest of Nigeria has been kind of like umpire. But are we going to remain in this foolery, in this stupidity, lack? Are we going to remain in it? No. We don't want to remain in it. It's as simple as that. So therefore, is breakup of Nigeria the way out? Is it going to make sense? Is there going to be development in the other regions? The breakaway, are they going to develop? Are they going to move? Is there going to be that competition? Or it is going to be business as usual, like, putting old wine in new bottle, expecting to have a change? Like, no. So he thought about it like, this is the way to go. Let us break this country apart. If things are not going to be done well, let us break it apart and see if we. But the mistake that Nnamdi Kanu made is trying to bring in other region, states that do not speak the same language. You are going to have the same problem. There's nothing about our cultures. No, you're going to have issues. You're going to have issues. So these are some of the things that I think. Now, sure, you saw what happened. Tear gas was released. They had to run for their lives. Gunshots here and there. And this is what we are talking about. It's not easy. If you're on ground and you face or experience some of this, you realize that it's not a joke. It's a serious matter. Rufai said what he said. Look, all of this is trash. All of this is nonsense. This is nonsense. These people cannot be arrested. It is not possible. It is not right. It shouldn't be. It's not possible in a climate where things work. But then, when we keep saying climate where things work, we have to make it work. A lot of people have posited. They've said what they think, and we should all stand firm. I believe we'll be getting a better country. Nnamdi Kanu is not perfect. He has said things that he shouldn't say. He has stoked up fires, embers that, he has done all of that. And I'm sure somehow he has also learned his lesson somehow. he has come to realize that the reach of a government is unbelievable. You can't joke with it. You cannot joke with it. The reach of a government is unbelievable. And when I say government, government of the people by the people, the thing that I'm trying to buttress here is that Nnamdi Kanu's people are one of the major machinery that locked him up in prison. It's as simple as that. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about it all? Drop your comments.